Kicking off the Classic Metal Show tonight, a couple of melodicrock.com bands right there. Name of the band there is called Treat. That comes from their 2010 release. Coup de Grace with We Own the Night, which we own your Saturday night here on the Classic Metal Show. And we kick things off with Crazy Licks with Lock Up Your Daughter. And speaking about locking up your daughter, lock up your daughter, kids, because here comes Chris Aiken to the mic. What's happening, my friend?
What's up, man? How are we?
We're back after a unplanned week away.
Yeah, that was not fun. Neither's tonight, because tonight I got the flu, but I was like, I'm not fucking canceling no matter what. But we'll rock through tonight. I'm starting to feel better. I'm getting some coffee in me and, some aspirins, and here we go.
Well, have you been exposed to the public to be able to pick the flu up somewhere?
A little bit. I had a couple of meetings this week where I had to go out and had a funeral that I had to go to and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I've been out a little bit this weekend. Sure as shit, I got sick.
Nice.
Love it.
Just perfect. Perfect timing.
This is why I fucking am turning into the Howard Hughes of internet radio. I like to just stay in my house all the time. If the commute anywhere is more than about 13 seconds, then I don't want to do it anymore.
You just got to stay indoors and stay away from the germy folks.
I can't stand it, dude. And the worst part was I knew I was going to get sick on Thursday because I stopped at a gas station and I was getting gas and I went in to get a cup of coffee and I was getting my coffee, and there was a guy just fucking hacking up his goddamn lung. And I was like, I'm going to be sick. I looked at the guy, and I was like, I know I'm going to be sick. And sure as shit, last night, I started coughing. And I was like, son of a fucking cunt. And sure as shit, today, I feel like just total ass.
Oh, man.
But that's all right. I'll be honest, I got a lot of sleep today, so I should be able to tough out 6 fucking hours.
Right. Well, the thing about me and I just, knock on wood is I rarely ever get sick. I mean, you've known me for, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
You've known me 20 years this year, as a matter of fact. I believe I met you in 98.
Yeah, it's been a couple of minutes.
So, aside from that one show that we still have a recording of.
Okay.
It's very rare that I ever get sick. I could be among the sickest of sick people and never catch it.
Yeah, no, but you're healthy. I mean, that's really the difference is you live healthy and I live like a fucking madman. And, that doesn't help me any. Plus the fucking burns fucked up my lungs. So
Right.
I am the king of getting pneumonia. So, that's why and I know you've probably noticed this before. It can be 60, 65 degrees and I'll be wearing a hoodie.
Right.
Because I'm so susceptible to pneumonia, to getting sick. So, I really have to be careful with being out amongst a bunch of fucking assholes. And therefore, seeing some guy in a place that serves food going over top of the fucking coffee that I'm buying made me want to punch somebody in the fucking face. So, it is what it is, though. I feel a little shitty tonight. Not too bad. I feel all right now, but I'll live.
Well, excellent. Well, we had some great weather here in the Chicagoland area today. I was out and about and doing things and enjoying the sunshine and the mild temperatures and enjoying the Camaro today. And it's just been a good day. So I was looking forward to doing the show. I was looking forward to doing the show last week, but
me too.
The plug got pulled all of a sudden.
Yeah, that was my fault, folks. I'll take the hit for that one. That was a very last second one of those that I'll just say it. Kelly had a death in her family or close to her family and asked me to be there. So, and you know how I am, dude. If I'm asked to be somewhere, I'll go there. I always put friendship over just about anything else. So.
Sure.
So I did, and she asked me to be there. So I texted you at 7:00 or whatever. It's like, I'm out. Goodbye.
So I hung out and, basically hung out in the studio. I cranked up the fireplace and watched some Netflix.
That's cool. What you watch? Anything good?
Just kind of scary movies. There's a series out there. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Insidious.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I watched the Insidious movies.
Good? Not good?
No, they're really good. They were very well done. I knew of them, but I never saw them before, so I sat and watched them. I thought, wow, those were really well done.
Now, are they like old school horror, like 80s, 90s, or are they new school, like that whole gore horror? Like
no. It's kind of 80s, 90s. A lot of jump scares, that kind of stuff. It was really well done. I was really surprised at how good they were.
See, I could watch that. I can't watch like Saw or...
No, they're not like that at all.
That shit's just too... I hate to be a pussy, but that's too much for me. When they're fucking popping eyes out and sticking...
Nah, hey, it's not like that at all. This is more paranormal stuff.
All right. That I can watch.
So, I enjoyed that. So, yeah, I took the night off as everybody did.
Right.
Did you, now, being that you handle all the CMS social media and the Facebook and all that shit, did we catch any flack for not being here this week?
Dude, come on. Is it dark outside? Of course we did. But it's always funny because it doesn't come up right away. It comes up on Wednesday.
Right.
And about Wednesday, then everybody's like, where's the fucking podcast, asshole? Where's last week's show, dickheads? Had plenty of that. And plenty of people that were pissed off because they didn't get their CMS Vinnie Vincent coverage.
Yeah, I know. That it amazes me the number of people who I saw commentary about it and why people are so interested in what you and I have to say about that.
I don't know, but we'll do that tonight, I think. Won't we?
Well, we will cover some of that. I mean, it's been beat to death, the bit of the coverage that I did see online.
What, you mean every podcast that's ever put out audio putting out something about Vinnie Vincent was too much?
Yeah, I think so.
You think? I think there's room for another 2 hours of it tonight.
Well, I don't intend on spending 2 hours on it, but I'm sure we will comment and I know the fans are just chomping at the bit about it.
Did you guys hear Eddie Trunk? God, you know how many times I got that email this week? I literally, I'm going to count them during one of the breaks. I'll bet I have 70 links to the same YouTube page just of Eddie interviewing Vinnie Vincent.
Right.
Let me just put this out here to the fans. And I'm not saying this in a condescending way or whatever. I'm just going to say this. If it's something that's fairly big, assume that I see it. I live on the internet. I probably am on the internet 10 times more than the next closest person that listens to this show. Would you say that's fair, Neely?
I would say, yeah.
And I am a whore when it comes to this topic, musical topic. So I get that you guys are all trying to help the show, but if Eddie interviewed Vinnie Vincent last Friday, which is when he did interview him, I don't need you to tell me yesterday, hey, did you happen to see that? Yes. I had 6 full days to find out, and I found out. Okay? Thank you. That's all.
Yeah. So, people, I did get some emails, too, from people, direct emails to me about, are you going to cover this? Are you going to cover this?
Yeah.
And then, of course, the other one I got several emails about was, did you hear Eddie losing his mind over the Kiss T-shirt thing?
Yeah. Heard that one, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like...
there was one of... Did you hear him talking bad about Mark Slaughter? And your friend Mark Slaughter, I got a couple of those too.
Right.
I was like, I like Mark and all, but I don't know that he's our buddy, is he?
Yeah. Well, I gotta, I do have when I first started doing this show 22 years ago, Mark was my first in-studio guest ever.
Okay.
I picked him up at a local hotel, and they were in town. They played at the Ron's Crossroads. In fact, you probably were there.
Probably was, yeah.
And they played at the Ron's Crossroads. They were out promoting Revolution.
Right.
And this was like, I think this was about a year before Tim Kelly got killed.
Okay. Wow.
You know, it was just within that time span. And I did a special afternoon edition of the Classic Metal Show on Friday.
Okay.
And I did like a 2-hour version of the show. And it was all, you know, just an interview thing, played new songs from the new Slaughter record. And then Mark took some phone calls and things like that. So that was the first, you know, live in-studio guest thing that I ever did with the CMS 20 years ago.
Wow, look at that. But you still wouldn't call him your... I mean,
no, not at all. I mean, I've hung out with Mark on probably half a dozen occasions since then. But as far as being like a friend or, you know, a close confidant or something, no, nothing like that at all.
It's, hey, man, good to see you again.
Exactly.
It's that kind of a thing.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I get it. It's like, all right, people, take it easy. You know, the whole Vinny, and we'll get into it later. I don't even want to get into this right now. But, yeah, it was just a deluge of shit for the last week and a half about Vinny fucking Vincent. You'd have thought that the guy was Ace Frehley. Honestly, you'd have thought that he was Ace, the original guitar player in Kiss. From the amount of, I don't know, commotion that he's generated by, you know, coming out of the woodwork.
I guess. But we will cover that.
Yeah, we'll get there.
And also tonight, what we're gonna cover a little bit, and I haven't even cued you in on this, but I received a couple of care packages from a couple of fans this week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I will tell you what was in these packages. Some of it was just, and I'm going to use this term, and I mean this in all sincerity. Mm-hmm. Some of the amount of stuff that was in one package was overwhelming.
Really? How much did they spend to send it?
Probably $50-$70.
Holy shit.
I mean, it came from, well, actually both packages came from Australia, from 2 different Australian fans.
Oh, nice.
You know, and it just the amount of stuff that was packed into these packages was just like, holy shit.
Nice. Did you take pictures, I hope?
Well, I'm going to post photos in the chat room.
Okay, good.
When we get to it, so they can see. But I was just like, Jesus Christ, really? I mean, some of it is cool, and don't get me wrong, it was very cool stuff, and some of it came in handy for the CMS studio.
Oh, nice.
And then other stuff was just like, holy shit, this is a lot of stuff.
Right.
So I'll talk about that a little bit later as well.
Okay. And
then this week is NAMM.
Yes.
I did not make it out to NAMM this year. The vibe just wasn't right. Bob, when I go out to NAMM, I usually hang out with Bob Nobandian and Toby. Sure. And Bob, he wasn't going to be there for the whole time, and I think Toby only could go last night.
Okay.
And so things just didn't line up right, so I didn't end up going this year.
Okay.
But Bob is out at NAMM, and he texted me last night and said, well, if I'm not too drunk and I remember, I'll call in tomorrow during the show. He says, I heard your call out for me to call a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
And I wasn't listening to the show live, so I kind of missed it.
Yeah.
So he says, if I remember, I'll call in from NAMM tonight and bring you up to date, and we can talk about the Inside Metal releases and things like that.
Cool. Very cool.
So we may hear from Bob, and then our good friend Joe Cleon, who's hanging out in the chat room. He's got a charity to promote tonight.
Yes.
And he's going to call in about a half an hour.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk to Joe and discuss his project going on.
Sure.
And see what's going on there. And then, I've got a shit ton of subjects to cover.
Yeah. I even sent stuff this week.
You did. So I got more than enough stuff to fill the show tonight. I don't even think we'll get to probably a third of it.
Well, that's okay. That's all right, because, we're storing it up for the rest of the year.
Yeah, no kidding.
Dude, can you believe we're already a fucking month down?
Yeah, we're a month in already. It's the 27th today, so 1 month already gone.
It's amazing.
That's okay, because this is one of the shittier months.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see this one going.
Yeah, this weather. Oof. I mean, I don't mind this warmer weather, but just up and down, and it might be fucking 10 degrees tomorrow. It might be 60. I mean, it's fucking crazy.
It is crazy. Must be all that global warming.
Al Gore was right,
He was right.
Yeah, man!
I hate this president we have in the White House today. He's not sensitive to all this climate change and pulling out of that Paris Accord and all that.
Yeah, that orange rebel flag flying cunt.
Yeah, pal.
Yeah, man! Women power! Oh, sorry.
This world is just going to fall apart.
Where's my pussy hat when I need it?
Yeah, man.
Yeah! Up with the vagina!
Exactly. Me too.
Yeah, me 3.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, pal.
So good.
Or palette.
Speaking of that, did you read that article that I sent you?
Yep.
What did you think?
In what regard?
In the accomplishments and the achievements, as opposed to all the Trump hate out there.
Oh, the Trump hate is stupid. The guy Trump has definitely had a million accomplishments that aren't getting any love but it's all truthfully, it's his own doing too. I don't think he wants people to. If he wanted people to celebrate him, he'd get the fuck off Twitter. That's the truth. If he wanted to be celebrated, he would stop with the fucking Rosie's a fat cunt. Signed your president. He would stop that shit, and he would just be like, "Did you see this? Did you see that?" And the only thing he would post is about his accomplishments.
Right.
He doesn't care.
No, he doesn't.
He likes
care.
the distraction.
He does.
He likes it. I think he's one of those guys that fucking never takes a break. Sort of reminds me of me.
Yeah.
In that he never takes a break when he's working. So what he does is he rabble rouses online because it entertains him for a fucking couple minutes. And he's got, he can rabble rouse and get fucking 50 million people throwing punches back at him.
Exactly.
I think he loves it. I think he loves seeing the fucking CNN do story. He's got to sit in that office late at night when he's done fucking pissing off Kim Jong-un or whoever. He's got to just be sitting back watching CNN do story after story about what a bag of shit he is.
Right.
And laughing his fucking ass off.
Yeah.
About, look at these fucking dummies just fucking falling for it.
Yeah, look at him reacting to some dumb shit I put out there.
Or Joy Behar or fucking Rosie or whatever. He's got to be loving that. He's got to be loving the fact that every time Rosie O'Donnell puts a tweet out there, that it looks like she's a fucking deranged psychopath with all the crayon script. Have you seen her tweets?
You know what? I have not paid any attention to social media in probably 2 weeks.
Dude, if you and I know, and believe me, I know she is a monumental cunt. But one of the most fun Twitters to follow is Rosie, because what she does now is she types out what she's going to do, and then she screenshots it, and then she takes like Windows Pencil or whatever and crazy scribbles all over it. Liar, orange cunt, asshole,
All right.
And then post that out there so that she looks like she looks like every movie. When you watch a movie and it turns out that the guy that seemed normal was insane?
Yeah, of course.
They find books and books and books of the writing and shit that they had.
Yeah.
And it's all crazy drawings written 15 different ways and whatnot. That's what she looks like now online. Just a crazed, deranged fucking kook.
Right.
And Trump has to be sitting back and just loving that.
Yeah.
It's funny to watch, actually. I enjoy watching it.
Just driving them crazy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know you're loving every time Trump fucking posts anything on Twitter, you're happy because he's your guy.
Yeah.
I see that I saw that Dopra already fucking got the message that she was going to have her life turned upside down and ran away.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
She put the feeler out there and learned real quick that her ugly past is going to come up in a hurry. Dude, how long did it take from the time she gave that speech to the time that they were that video of her saying old white people need to die? What was it? An hour?
Yeah, it didn't take very long.
It was like 1 hour from a surprise announcement. Yeah, she had no chance.
Nope.
Because damn well there's some real there's some Trump Billy Bush audio out there with Oprah.
Sure.
Who's been on the microphone for fucking 25 years.
Exactly.
You know there's some backstage audio somewhere of her saying, kill the white man. That's what we need to do. Kill them all.
Right.
Herd them into FEMA camps and burn them.
Yeah.
So that they're black like me.
Well, the one that is coming back to bite somebody in the ass.
Yeah.
Is back during the election cycle when who was it that was hosting? It was NBC or CBS, one of those.
I didn't watch any of
commercial.
it. So.
They were doing the interview, the one-on-one interview with Hillary, and then they did the one-on-one interview with Trump.
Okay.
About what an effective leader they would make and all that, and Hillary got tripped up on it and she got all pissed off.
Right.
And in the behind the stage, backstage, she was so freaked out, and she said, if this guy gets elected, speaking of Trump, we're all going to hang. She said that at that point.
Right.
Now all of a sudden all this FBI shit is coming out this week.
Right.
And there might be some truth to that now.
Now, what is and I hate to turn this first hour.
Yeah, I'm not trying to turn this into a political thing. I just think it's funny how it turns.
I don't understand because again, I really am not paying that much attention. Now, is this that's going on now? They keep saying this guy and that guy had the Trump dossier. And is this related to, and something about emails, is this related to the email server that you destroyed?
Yes, because basically what they're finding out is that the fix was in not to go after Hillary for her email server.
Okay.
They were directed not to go after her.
By Obama?
Well, by the administration, whether it was Loretta Lynch, whether it was Obama, whether it was the Obama administration.
Okay.
And basically the FBI was told not to pursue it.
That's funny.
And now there's a couple of agents, a couple of FBI agents that were anti-Trump. They were part of this Mueller investigation.
Okay.
When one of them was found out to be, anti-Trump, he was relieved of his position in this Mueller investigation. Okay. And then he and this other FBI agent are lovers.
Ooh.
And it's a chick, a guy and a girl, and they were exchanging a lot of texts.
Okay.
55,000 texts came up missing.
Wow. That's a lot of text.
It is, but supposedly they've recovered them. But the funny thing is that anytime something like this goes haywire, be it the IRS, emails came up missing.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton, emails came up missing. Yeah. Text messages came up missing.
Yeah, but meanwhile, I can't have an email come up missing. If I said, "Hey, I'm going to kill somebody" in an email 8 years ago, they'll be able to go back to now online servers and find it. That makes no sense.
Well, again, so now there's there's a world of shit going on out there, and of course when Hillary made that comment, a year, almost 2 years ago, that if he gets elected, we're all going to hang. She knew something, she knew that something was, going on there, or she was well aware of it. Let's just put it that way.
Well, she's stolen enough money to keep it in court until she dies.
Well, it doesn't matter, but the fact is that, just the fix was in. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Well, and it still didn't work. And he still got elected, even with the fix being in.
Exactly.
That's kind of funny.
So anyway, just a little bit of, if you don't follow the news and all that, it's all well and fine. But I find it funny that all of this hate, he's an asshole, he's a dick, he's this, he's that, he's, whatever. And everything that he said starting to come to fruition.
Of course.
He said, Obama had my phones tapped.
Right.
And that's bullshit. He didn't do that. That's bullshit. Now they're finding out, oh, by the way, they had your phones tapped.
Yeah, of course.
He goes, the leaks are coming from the FBI. That's bullshit. That's an integrity. That's an integrity group. That's the most trusted, law enforcement group in the whatever. And they go, oh, yeah, they were leaking stuff.
Yeah, they were fucking you. Meanwhile, why is it that the women were all upset about Trump saying grab the pussy, but then they're out marching dressed as pussies? Why is that better?
Well, I don't know that it's, well, the thing is now that was a problem too, because the pussy hats were pink, and that doesn't represent the black woman, because the black woman's got brown pussy lips. And so now they have to stop wearing the pink pussy hat because it's not politically correct, or it's racist.
Really?
Really?
So bad.
It is. Everything's racist.
I know.
I mean, just me getting out of the bed in the morning and stepping foot on my white carpeting in my house is racist.
Right. Everything, dude. What I like about this whole pussified racist thing that we're going through now? Now it makes actual real racism even more funny.
It is. It's really funny.
I was listening to Artie and Anthony today. Man, they had me crying, laughing. I was laughing. Artie was fucking on. I'm going to tell this joke, and I'm going to preface it by saying this is not my joke.
Yeah, you're just repeating what you heard.
I'm repeating this, but it was just so funny. Artie has a book coming out. Do you know that?
I was not aware, no.
Artie Lang has a book coming out called Wanna Bet. And he was doing his plugs at the end of the show. I'll be at the Funny Bone on this date and, whatever. So he's doing his plugs, and one of his plugs was for his book. And he goes, yeah, I've got this new book. It's called Wanna Bet. It's out on Mother's Day, or for our black listeners, June. I was like, God damn it. So wrong.
Well.
So wrong, but it did make me laugh.
Yeah, of course.
Then he was telling another joke. I hate to tell other people's jokes, but they were funny. He was saying, they were talking about Oprah, and he was saying that there was a producer on his show, or on her show, that or how did this joke go? Oh, here. He said she went to the doctor one day, and the doctor told her to take off her clothes so that he could do an exam for Oprah. So she took off her clothes, and he goes, okay, now go over there and lay on the floor. And she's like, what? And he's like, just go lay over there on the floor. So she does, and he looks at her for a minute, and he goes, okay, now come over to this wall and lay on the floor over here. And she does, and she's like, what's going on here? And she's like, no, one more time. Go over to that third wall over there and lay down over there. And she does, and then she gets up and goes, am I sick or something, Doc? And the doctor goes, I don't know, but I'm thinking about buying a brown couch.
Jeez.
I was like, God damn it.
Wow. All right.
So there's your real racism for the night, folks.
Yeah, there you are.
Courtesy of Artie Lang.
Exactly.
My interpretation.
Sure.
I'll give him all his credit.
Right. Too funny. So I have not paid attention to the AA show lately. So obviously, Artie has gotten his act together to where, things are okay on that show now.
Well, he's back. I'll say that. He did a good week this week. He was funny this week. I don't know. I don't see how it's gonna work forever. I mean, he's gonna go back on the shit. I mean, do you think after all this time now he's gonna get clean?
No.
I don't think so. He's lost too many jobs and not giving a fuck about them. I certainly don't think the one show where he can literally not have any rules is going to be the place to straight. If Howard Stern's show, the dream job of all dream jobs, didn't convince him to get his shit together, do you really think doing the Artie and Anthony show is going to? For less money and with no rules and no real boss to say, hey, stop fucking up or you're fired? Fuck no. He's going to kill himself. I predict he'll die this year in 2018.
You do?
That's my prediction.
That's your prediction. Okay.
He's got 11 months. I hope he beats my bet, but because I'm a huge fan of his, but man, A, he doesn't look real healthy, and B, he looked healthy this week, healthier. I will say that, but he's still under court-ordered shit. He's probably having to go and piss every day.
Right.
Wait till that goes away, and then we'll see what happens. So, we'll see.
Wow.
But the shows have been good. Shows have been excellent.
Well, I have not had an opportunity recently to, catch up on any of them. I did catch up on, and I mentioned this to you earlier this week or through an email or something, but I did happen to stumble across a Joe Rogan show.
Okay.
With Jim Norton.
Sure.
And even though this happened 3 months ago, he was talking to Joe Rogan about why Opie got fired from Sirius XM.
Sure, yeah.
And I did not realize, according to the way that Jim was discussing the O&A show, or the O&J show, rather.
Yeah.
That Opie and Jim were not buds.
Oh, no, they didn't like each other at all.
I wasn't aware of it. I know the chemistry wasn't right. I know it didn't work real well, which I stopped listening to that long time ago.
Yeah, you stopped at O&A.
Yeah, pretty much. I listened to a few episodes of the O&J, and I just thought, this is boring.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. And to be honest, Jim and Sam's not very good either.
Yeah.
But if you Google or YouTube, go to YouTube and search for Opie and Jim fight, they had it out on the air. And Jim literally said, look, I'll just fucking do my job until fucking October and I'm out. And literally in October, he was out. He fucking was done that day. And it's brutal to listen to. And Opie just came off like a fucking jizz bag. He was like, so I forget what happened. And he said to Jimmy asked him, well, why didn't you bring that to me or whatever? And he's like, well, we don't have that kind of relationship. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, well, you're not a friend or anything. It's like, and Jim lost his shit. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? We've been doing this show together for 15 years. How's that not a friend at that point? But then they just started arguing with each other about how much they fucking hate each other.
Wow. Okay. I'll look that up.
Yeah, it's interesting to listen to. Then they got that dumb cunt Esther Koo in the studio with them.
I don't even know who that is.
She's a bad comedian. And every once in a while, she chimes in trying to settle it down, and they both just ignore her like she's not even there. It's like, ugh, she's awful. She really is awful. She looks good, but she's awful.
Okay.
But yeah, it's out there. It's definitely out there.
Wow, what a shame.
Yeah. Well, the magic was the three of them.
Yeah, I agree.
The magic was the three of them from, I don't know, about a year before they got fired at NEW, when they were hitting on all cylinders, until the merger. When they were just pure XM, those shows are unbeatable.
Right.
Those shows were fucking the best. I can't tell you how many times I was late for work because I was sitting in my car listening to bits. And, that they were great then. But once they got into Sirius XM, then the merger fucked it all up and they stopped doing stuff. And, it just became, okay, let's sit in the studio and talk for 3 hours thing.
Right.
And then it wasn't as good. It wasn't as good as when they were out doing homeless shopping spree and shit like that.
And of course.
That shit was great.
Well, of course, that's what destroyed, the political correctness is what destroyed the funny.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Because when XM started having to tamp down on their exploits, that's when it turned to shit.
Yeah, that's when it was bad.
Yeah.
It just went to hell. No events. I mean, we don't do a lot of events, but when we do, they're a lot of fun.
Right.
They're fun to get out there and be silly and get crazy. And just to get, especially guys that were much better at it than we are, to get them out there and then all of a sudden say, no, you can't do that anymore. And you can't have strippers in the studio anymore. And, one of my favorite bits of all time on O&A was they had that Brie Olson in the studio.
Okay.
And they were you remember Black Earl?
Yes, I do.
They were trying to get her to blow Earl on the air. and it went on for like an hour, and it was the funniest fucking bit ever because Earl was trying not to do it, and he didn't want cameras, and then he didn't want it on the air, and they were trying to mic his cock so that they could hear her sucking his dick. It was like this whole thing, but it was one of the funniest fucking things. I sat in my car just laughing my ass off.
Right.
Like I was like an hour late for work because I just listened to the whole thing.
Right.
So good.
Just that barbaric guy humor, man.
Yeah, well, I'm a guy.
Yeah, man.
Sorry.
What do we got for the ladies, man? We got to be, equal opportunist here.
I don't, because I'm not a woman. I don't give a shit what you listen to or watch or anything. Dude, that's always been my case with all this. No, we don't have to be equal. We don't have to be equal. You go do what you want to do. Don't fucking bother me.
Right.
Don't, in fact, be exclusive. Don't include me in your horse shit. I don't want to watch any movie with Kate Hudson. Let's just be clear. Kate Hudson, Goldie Hawn, you can go do that by yourself. I have no interest in that. Let me watch the movies I'm going to watch. Let me watch documentaries about people getting killed. That's what I want to do.
Right.
You want to watch some shit about 99 dates? Go ahead. Have fun with that, you fucking horse. And leave me alone.
Well, speaking of documentaries, and we'll wrap up with this since Joe's coming up here in a few minutes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I watched a documentary last night, which had me fascinated, and I don't know if this kind of thing fascinates you or not, but you are in the gaming business now.
So they say.
And there is a new documentary out there on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
And it's about the history of the gaming company Atari.
Oh, I've watched that one.
Well, this one is new. There was another one out there about Atari where they went out and dug up the
E.T. game.
Yeah, they dug it up out of a landmine or landfill.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is different than that.
Okay.
I did see that one.
Yeah.
But this one here was a really in-depth one about the inner workings of Atari and the how it started, and they talked to all the engineers and the people involved with it, and how I didn't even know that it was bought out by Warner Brothers. Did you know that?
No.
I had no idea that Warner Brothers looked at Atari as just another form of entertainment rather than a technology company.
Now, was that after they were big or before?
It was when they had Pong was out already, and they were getting into the home game systems and all that. But it got to the point to where they were growing at such a clip, but they couldn't qualify for any financial backing.
Right. Sure.
So it just got to be so stressful that they thought, well, maybe a big corporate entity can come in and buy this thing.
Okay.
And they did. And I wasn't aware of it, because this all happened in the 70s.
Right.
And, they went through the whole history and talked to the engineers and the guy who started Atari and the guy who was the CEO who was brought in by Warner Brothers to run the thing, and, how it was successful all the way up to that E.T. game, and then how everything went to shit from there. But it was really amazing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Atari could do no wrong for a while.
Yeah.
And then E.T. came out and it was done.
Yeah, pretty much. But what fascinated me is that they were screwing around with video game platform.
Mm-hmm.
When do you think the earliest time that they were playing around with video game style platform? When do you think?
Like Pong or whatever?
Well, whatever, a video game, something you could play on a screen as a game.
No, it had to be in like the 60s.
Yeah, 66.
Yeah, I believe that. And then the Apple, what's his name? Woj over at Apple, wasn't he the guy that created Pong before he was at Apple? No,
it was the engineer. Well, yeah, they do talk about the controversy as to who was the first.
Okay,
but. If you're into the gaming, and I'm not a big gamer, I did enjoy them, in the arcades growing up and stuff. And I like the old style games, but I was never one of those hardcore guys who sat there and, bought every game system out there and played every game out there. But to see the history of this and how it developed and, how it became marketable and how they marketed to like Sears.
Right.
Sears was like one of their biggest carriers.
Sure.
And how the game, console was selling out quickly. And, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And the amount of money that they generated with this over, say, like a 10-year period, and how, it got into the billions of dollars.
Sure.
And then it just went to nothing.
Well, it just went to the home. That's what it did. It went into the homes. It's not nothing now. It's huge.
Yeah, I know, but I meant Atari.
Oh, yeah, Atari went to shit.
That's what I'm talking about. That Atari, generated $1 billion.
Sure.
And then it just went poof.
Well, that's because all their developers went other places.
Yeah.
All their developers went to, Nintendo or whatever. Nintendo beat intelligence into the fucking people that were working on the NES.
Right.
And got them working. But, dude, the video gaming thing, the rise of it is so amazing. One of the story my guys give the tour, we have the little tour section of the museum, and we have an original Tato version of Space Invaders, which,
okay,
for people that are not gaming people, the one that you've all played is made by Midway.
All right,
but Tato was the company in Japan that originally made Space Invaders, and then Midway bought it for some incredible amount of money. But the reason that they were selling it, Tato sold to Midway, was not just to get it to the States, but was because they were using so much currency change that it was creating shortages in Japan, coin shortages.
Right.
And they were getting, the government was stepping in and making people get rid of the machines, take the machines out of public use, because the machines were eating up all the coins and they had a coin shortage. I mean, that's fucking ridiculous when you think about it. I mean, how many games were being played that they ran out of coins in a country?
Well, that's funny that you bring that up, because as part of this documentary, when they put the first Pong machine as a test, a pilot, in a bar out in it was like the San Francisco area.
Sure.
The bar owner called them to say, "Hey, there's something wrong with your machine. It's broken." Okay. And so they went there, and the only thing that was wrong with it is that people jammed it so full of quarters it couldn't take any more quarters.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And that's when they realized that they had something on their hands.
Yeah, well, and they certainly did. They made trillions. I think they made $1 trillion in the gaming world.
Yeah, so it's pretty fascinating. So if you're into the whole gaming thing, and if you like, the history of it, and see the beginnings, and it's pretty amazing.
I'll have to watch that, because I should probably know that.
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime. So if you're interested in that, it's very, very well done.
I will check it out.
I think you would enjoy that.
Cool.
All right. Well, Joe Cleon is coming up here in a few minutes, and we'll get him on the phone, and we'll talk to him and find out what's going on with his. Is this a like a fundraising thing?
Yeah, he's selling some of his artwork and donating proceeds to charity.
Okay.
To some kind of animal charity. But he'll have to tell us.
All right.
He sent me the link. I looked at the pictures. I didn't even read what it was about.
All right.
I won't lie.
All right. Well, in May, here in the Chicagoland area, both Chris and I will be out at the Melodic Rock Fest.
Yes.
That takes place May 4th, 5th, and 6th. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Tickets are on sale at melodicrockfest.com.
That's right.
And there's a lot of bands that are going to be playing over there. We're going to be featuring some of those bands over the next few months, just to kind of get your feet wet if you weren't familiar with all of them. And this is one of the bands that is featured on Melodic Rock Fest. The band is called Far Cry.
Cool.
And they have a CD just called Optimism. And I'm going to play a tune here from Far Cry, and we'll get Joe on the phone, find out what's going on with him. So let's check out Far Cry. This one is called Too Hot to Hold, exclusively here
on your Classic Metal Show.